Okay. Hello everyone, I hope I'm actually live. It was giving me some trouble, some technical issues. It wouldn't let me take a thumbnail. It kept glitching out and taking a picture over and over again, so I don't really know why, and if it's a connectivity issue, then I hope I'm actually live and it isn't just, bad internet. So, assuming that it's not bad internet and that I am live right now, I will just have to take a post thumbnail, I guess. Not that big of a deal. But let's get into today's topic. It would be nice if I could have somebody here to confirm that you can hear and see me all right, but it looks like no one's watching. Even though I go live at the same time every week, nobody ever tunes in except my crazy stalker. So that sucks. But I would normally just ignore that and continue with the topic. It's just that this week I'm not sure if I'm talking to myself or if I'm actually live. So that's great. But let's assume that I'm live. I have no way to check. I could go get another device and check on that, but I don't really feel like moving. I'm all situated down here. I just got out of the shower. I'm feeling ready. So what did I call this? What do you deserve? Ooh, that's a good title. This is a good topic. And actually, I'm considering going and checking on another device because I don't know if I want to start on this topic if I'm unsure if it's going to work. I don't know. Aw, man, I really wish somebody would tune in. I'm sure it's fine. It says I'm live. I'm gonna assume that I'm live. And worst comes to worst is it doesn't record. And if that's the case, I'll just do it again. So I want to start by apologizing for being a little disorganized. I originally had a very clear plan for what my two separate shows were going to be, and the lines between Fallen World and Just Between Us have become a little bit blurred lately. So I want to get back on track with that. I need to file my nail. I need to clip my nails, to be honest, but I'll get it done. So yeah, I'm gonna get back on track with that. This is going to be a channel where I focus on more personal psychology related topics, and the other channel is going to be more news and politics, I think. Or no, other way around. I don't know. If I'm being totally honest, I'm still not even sure what I want each show to mean. We're only on episode 8, so it really isn't that important. But I'll figure it out, and we'll get a steadier situation going here. I'll have it figured out by the time I do a new Fallen World. So, I blocked my stalker from all of his many different accounts, and I don't know that he won't make a new one. He could just still show up, and if he does, we're going to do our best to ignore him. I don't know his name, I don't know what he looks like, but I know that he is very weird and very creepy, and you will see strange, unrelated, or creepy comments, and that's him, pretty much. So, let's get into today's topic. What do you deserve? What do I mean by that? So, first of all, um, what I had in mind is people who don't know what they deserve. I have a friend who was just talking about, this belief, because sometimes you tell people like you deserve peace or you deserve happiness or you don't deserve stress or stuff like that, and they don't even really believe that. Like there's a part of them that thinks that they do deserve negative things, stressful things. They don't actually feel like they are worthy of anything good. So they kind of self-sabotage, and this is a deeply rooted issue of the way that we're brought up and what we're sort of programmed to believe and think about ourselves. So this often comes from a lot of abuse and trauma, not just in the home, but just in general from society. There's all sorts of ideas floating around that will make people feel like absolute crap about themselves. And especially with minorities, if you're marginalized, you're a woman, you're gay, you're a person of colors, and anything like that. You're gonna have some type of issue where you're feeling like there's something wrong with you and you don't deserve good things. You're sort of taught to expect less and just be okay with it. Um, and then there's the personal stuff in the home where your family makes you feel that way, and you just, from all angles, it seems, you're just getting attacked. And you have to learn how to override that and say, no, I do deserve peace. I do deserve health, physical, mental, emotional. I deserve to be surrounded by people who genuinely care about me and treat me the way that I treat them. And you don't settle for less than that. And you don't waste your time. The first red flag is the last red flag. That is a really great mentality to have. And how do you get there? How do you break down the psychology? Well, you just have to acknowledge it. You have to say, okay, why do I feel like I don't deserve this? And actually answer it. Go in your mind, go in your past, and find the moment that that belief came from. That gives you a sense of power over it, because now you know it isn't just a voice in your head, and it certainly isn't your voice. It's that person's voice, and you don't like that person. They were mean to you, right? So this person is your enemy. And as an adult, you can reflect and realize whoever told you that, wherever that idea came from, did not come from someone who had your best interests at heart, did not come from someone who was trying to do anything for the greater good. It came from someone who was trying to use you, manipulate you. It came from someone who had something to gain from you feeling like shit. And once you realize that, you just have to learn to catch it and argue with it. Argue with that voice. Say, yes, I do. And don't internalize it as your own. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice, but you're not going to get anywhere if you don't even start. So, sort of like you win every fight you win every game you don't play, so, or you lose every game you don't play. You miss every shot you don't take, whatever the saying is. So you have to try. You have to at least start the journey of healing, and it is going to take a while, and there are going to be moments where you slip up and you feel like, oh no, what have I done? I'm back where I didn't want to be. But don't be hard on yourself. Healing is cyclical. There's going to be moments where you feel like you've backtracked or even like you've made no progress at all. That's not true. It really isn't. And even the fact that you're thinking that is proof that you're self-aware enough to know that you're making some level of progress. So ask yourself, why am I back here? How did I get back here? What haven't I worked on yet? And find something new. Don't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. You're back there because there's something else to uncover. So keep going and know that it's okay. It's not supposed to be a complete steady journey of going forward all the time. And like I said, you miss every shot you don't take. If you just give up and say, well, I guess I'm back where I started, so I'll just stay here, that's even worse. You have to keep going. Don't ever just give up because it doesn't look good. There's nothing else to do. You're just going to sit there and rot away. You have to move eventually. So, you could say, oh, but it's too hard. It's too hard. Well, what else is there? There's literally nothing else to do but keep trying and keep growing and learning and healing, other than just sitting around and just sucking up energy. Don't do that to yourself. That's even worse. So you can still go. It's not easier said than done. I hate that statement because it just means that you've given up before you even tried. You're just like, well, I guess it's easier said than done. Well, so is everything. Can you even name something that's easier to say than it is to do? easier to do than it is to say. Um, Maybe it's easier to be in love than to say I love you, I guess. But I can't really think of too many other examples. In general, the statement "it's easier said than done" is just completely meaningless, because of course it is. Everything is easier said than done. It's easy to speak and say words. It's not easy to do things. And even speaking is, in and of itself, doing something. So, yeah, that whole statement is just meaningless. It's a quitter's saying. Well, I give up. I'd rather just sit here and not make any progress in my life, rather than try to make progress and keep getting knocked down. I know it's hard to get knocked on your ass. I know it can make you feel like you're losing hope, but take a break. It's okay to say, I need a minute before I try again. Go, like, I don't know, do something to give you a sense of hope. Because in any situation in life, if you're ever trying really hard at something, if you're ever taking a test and you're studying like rigorously trying to get this test, you're like, I gotta study, I can't spend a second doing anything else. Or if you're playing like a video game or something, and there's this one level that you just can't beat, and you're trying over and over and over and over, you're gonna lose your mind. You have to take a break and go do something else and come back to it. That's okay. It doesn't mean put the game down, break it, throw it away. It doesn't mean rip your paper up and don't take the test. It just means give yourself some time. You're a human being. You need time to recharge, to recuperate and recover after getting beaten down a bunch. It's okay to acknowledge when you've been beaten down. It doesn't mean give up and don't keep trying. So, you know, everyone is deserving of love. Everyone is deserving of peace, good mental health, and people who care about them. Everyone deserves that. And when you treat other people a certain way, you usually have that in the back of your mind. But there is also an element of sometimes people treat people the way they think that they deserve to be treated. So if you're really mean to yourself, you might not be very good to other people. Now you might be, depends on who you are, but I've seen it go both ways. So, it might not just be affecting you. You could be meaner to people than you even realize. You could be isolating other people who do care about you because they don't like seeing you go through something where you're not being nice to yourself. And maybe you are really wonderful to everyone, but maybe you're a doormat. Maybe you just let everybody use you and take advantage of you. And then you end up being surrounded by people who people really shouldn't be comfortable taking advantage of you. And if those are the people you're surrounded by, you need new friends. Because not only should you not be giving that much of yourself to people, but you shouldn't be around people who would accept that much from you in the first place. So, just like reevaluate some stuff. And I know that it's not easy, like I said, I've been saying, but it is worth doing. So the ultimate question, what do you deserve, I think is a lot deeper than people realize. What do you deserve? I think that it's important to acknowledge that people all think they deserve different things based on where they are. There are a lot of people who don't have any self-awareness, and now that we're talking about the opposite end of the spectrum, not the ones who think they deserve horrible things, but the ones who are a little bit entitled, the ones who think that they deserve things that they really haven't earned, and they go around taking. These are the people who maybe would be very comfortable taking from an overgiver, taking from someone who's made themselves a doormat. That should concern you. You shouldn't want to take from someone who's willing to give that much of themselves. That's not healthy for them. And it doesn't speak well to you to be taking from them. That's like, would you take money from a homeless person? That's ridiculous. Unless you yourself were homeless. But you know what I mean. If you're in a nice suit, you're on your way to your office job, and a homeless person tries to hand you $5, are you taking that? That's what I'm saying. That obviously, it's basically the same thing. It's someone who really doesn't have anything to give, but they will not stop giving, and they exhaust themselves. That's someone who needs help, not someone you should be taking from. That's just enabling their problem. So, but there are people who do that, and they feel perfectly entitled to it. They think, well, they wanted to give it to me, I'll take it. So that's a problem too, because, and I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about anything. Any kind of time or energy or attention that someone is giving you that you're just soaking up and you love it, but it's not coming from an authentic place. There are also people who just love attention, And even when they know it's coming from someone who maybe isn't, like, there's situations where someone's in love with someone, but it's not mutual, it's not reciprocated. And that person, I saw a post on Instagram last night that said there's like nothing worse or more dangerous or something than someone who doesn't who doesn't want to keep you but also doesn't want to lose you, or something like that. I don't remember the way it was worded, but what it effectively was saying is that there are people who want to keep you around, but they also don't want to give you what you actually want from them, and they don't really value your end of the friendship. It's kind of one-sided. They're focused only on what they can get from you, not what they can give to you. And that is the kind of friendship and situation that you don't want to find yourself in. You want to make sure that you're steering clear of people like that, because they shouldn't be comfortable being around you knowing that you want something from them that they're never going to give you. That's like cruel. If you're in love with someone, especially, you have feelings for them, and instead of them just being upfront with you and saying, listen, if the only reason you're around me is because you think there's a chance we're going to get together, you can put that out of your mind right now. Like, I just want to be platonic friends. We're not going to go there. And if that's too much for you to accept, then maybe we shouldn't talk anymore, because I don't want to stress you out. I don't want you to feel like being around me hurts because you want something more from me than what I'm willing to give. But then people who kind of know, they're like, I know this person has feelings for me and I don't have them for them. It's not mutual. But I'm not going to straight up tell them, because I don't want to lose them. I do like having them around. I like how much they like me. I like the attention. So I'm just going to keep them around. I would look out for this. This is very, very dangerous, because it can exhaust the living shit out of you, because you're basically just getting yanked around and, like you're on a leash, and you have to unhook that leash. You have to just focus on prioritizing your mental health. Prioritize your peace of mind. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. This user's messages will be hidden. Okay. Found another one of my stalker's accounts. Just had to block him. That's what I'm going to do from now on. Every message I get, I'm going to just block the account. Because that's all I can do. So, yeah, I'm so tired of this shit. I mean, this guy just will not leave me alone. And I'm going to take my own advice and prioritize my peace. I do not have the energy or the time to worry about this motherfucker, to be sitting here stressing about him. He has way too many accounts. He has way too much time on his hands. He's just some weirdo who has like nothing to do but watch small YouTube live streamers like myself and leave creepy comments on their live streams. And I told him, leave me alone. And he took that as, leave 12 dislikes on all my videos from all his 13, 14, 15 different accounts that I've had to block, and leave a bunch of creepy, unrelated comments. So, I'm done. I can't handle it anymore. Honestly, I wish that I could, like, I don't know, get police involved, or just, like, find out who he is, so I could go punch him in the face. I feel like I stepped in gum, when you have like this thing that's attached to you, and you're like, get off me, get away from me, and it just will not leave you alone. That is severe mental health and deterioration. That's like, you've got serious problems. So, there's no fixing that. There's nothing you can do. When someone has problems like that, the only thing that you can really do is, get away from them. There's this TV show called Baby Reindeer. It's a pretty good example of what it's like to have a stalker. That is kind of how I feel. Now, luckily, this guy doesn't know where I live. But if he did, and he had the audacity to show up to my house, I would happily show him what, what I'm capable of. But unlike the show, oh my god. There goes another account. Blocked that one too. Yeah, the state I live in, but like I said, come to my house. Find out where I live. I dare you. I will kill you. You will be a home invader, and I will stab the shit out of you. And I will not cry a single tear over you. I'm allowed to kill home invaders, you know? You have to protect yourself. As far as anybody's concerned, it was self-defense. And what business do you have coming into my house if not to attack me? So, of course I would have to kill you. And I wouldn't do the same to you. I wouldn't barge into your house, as tempting as it might be to give you a good hard punch in the face. I would not do that to you. I wouldn't break into your house. I wouldn't make myself the attacker. I only kill people in self-defense. I've never killed anyone, to be clear. But I would happily do it if I thought my life was in danger and I thought I had no choice. Because nobody has the right to try and kill me. And I'm consistent in that. You know, I'll tell you, like, if I try to kill you, even if you did something horrible to me, and I had a lot of reason to want you dead, like let's say you murdered my whole family, right? I still wouldn't make myself the aggressor, because then you would still have the right to defend yourself. That's not how you actually hold people accountable for their crimes, is by putting yourself as like the vigilante and going out and going after them. Because then they have no choice but to defend themselves. You've made yourself the attacker. I'm not going to do that. But I would absolutely love to find a way to get this guy to leave me alone. If I could just, like, get police involved, get a restraining order, or, like, I don't know, even just find out information about him, like his real name, and then I could hold it over his head and say, I'll leak this information if you don't leave me alone. You know, but I try to stay in my ethical boundaries, but please break into my house. Give me a reason to kill you. I hate you so much. You realize Dave's friends are the only people who watch you. You are the same person. It is one person with multiple accounts. Okay, and keep leaving comments, because I'm just blocking all your accounts now. So, yeah, you're making it easier for me, dude. And Dave's friends. Why? Dave doesn't have friends. Are you kidding me? You're clearly all one person. There's no way. What the fuck? And Dave is nobody's real name. It's a made-up name. All of this is made up. None of this is real. The real Cynthia. You have like 3 different accounts with that name. Who are these people? Where do you get these names from, you freak? Fucking weirdo. Like, truly disturbed human being. He belongs in a straitjacket. You know, if I had magic, the situation that I would orchestrate is him being looked at by professionals and taken into custody. He should not have access to the internet. He needs to be given some kind of medication and serious medical and psychological attention. That's what he needs. He needs help. He doesn't need to get killed. But like I said, if he barged into my house, which he couldn't because all the doors are always locked, but if he made the attempt, I would happily knock him to another dimension. So yeah, unfortunately, realistically, all I can really do is block his accounts, and that should be enough. Because when I do that, it's a hide user from channel. It like blocks all of their comments. So, yeah, that's all I can do. So anyway, prioritize your peace is the last thing I was saying. The timing of that is kind of perfect and fitting. Oh, here's another one. Or you could quit streaming. Yep. Hide user from this channel. I'm not going to quit streaming because, like I said, I feel good about the messages that I'm sharing in this video. People do watch my shit. It isn't just you. I also have, you know, random people sometimes. Cheryl always watches my stuff. She's a good subscriber. And she's not creepy like you are. Let me see. And like I said, I didn't say this tonight, but like I said on Friday night, my other channel, I can go viral by touching on trendy topics. So if I do that on purpose, which is not that hard, honestly, I could get thousands of views. My last video on my other channel is about Timothy Heller and Melanie Martinez, which is a pretty trendy topic. I didn't even really say anything controversial. It's called The Facts. So all I did was share the facts that aren't being talked about very much, and then share my opinions, which is my prerogative. And I got a lot of good comments, I got a lot of angry comments, a nice mix, and I still feel good about the video. So I was able to keep my integrity in check. I didn't have to like pretend to have an opinion that I don't really have or anything. And I still got a decent amount of attention. I could do something even bigger, and I could get like the defending Colleen Ballinger video. I could get 35,000 views. That video was a really good idea, and it could have been better executed, but it taught me how to deal with hate comments. Um, and I just made a video about parasocial relationships recently because I find it so interesting how a lot of these haters, they think that their comment is going to be the deciding factor in what I do on my channel. Like they're like, "Oh, you sound really insensitive," and they're sitting there at their keyboard feeling like these vigilantes. They're sitting there going, I'm gonna fix this guy's YouTube channel and teach him how to make better content. I'm gonna tell him what opinions he should and shouldn't have." Basically, they're just trying to police my language, and that really is a disservice to anybody who might, you know, not know the best way to word something. You're not going to teach them by yelling at them and being an aggressor. That doesn't help. So, like I said, all I did was share the facts and my opinions, and I still had someone trying to tell me that what I said is harmful and not helpful to people who've been, assaulted and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, no. I know my opinions on this are completely within like a moral boundary because I have integrity and I am consistent, and I know nothing I said in that video is something that might be insensitive to people who've been like assaulted. I was specifically talking about that situation. I wasn't speaking generically, and nobody who watches that video is going to be looking for generic advice. People already have their opinions on stuff like that, and I'm allowed to share mine, but I was sharing my opinion on that specific situation. And this person was trying to pretend that you know, that they were like, "Oh, but this is just a generic thing. People who are victims, they're not going to be helped by your video." Why would a victim of sexual assault watch my video in the hopes of learning something new about victimhood or whatever? Like, that's not what people are doing. People are watching my video to learn whether or not there was dishonesty in the allegations made against Melanie Martinez. That very, very specific situation. And the only reason that person is leaving negative comments is because they believe the person. Okay, goodbye. They believe the person what the. Sorry, got another Dave comment. Just catching up with my thoughts. They believe the person who made the accusations. And I called them out on that. I said, let's not pretend you'd be leaving this comment still if you believed Melanie Martinez was telling the truth. And they were like, "You're incompetent. You didn't understand what I was trying to say." It's like, no, I understood. I just thought it was really arrogant of you to leave this angry comment on my channel as if it's going to make a difference and dictate what I do with my videos, whether I take this down or make an apology video or whatever the fuck you were hoping that I would do. I think that's extremely arrogant of you, and I would even use the word parasocial because it's a little bit one-sided. Like, I don't even have to read the comments if I don't want to. It's completely delusional thinking. And I didn't misunderstand at all. You were the one who was ignoring the fact that, like I pointed out, you're only leaving these comments because you believe Timothy Heller. Period. So this is something that I try to do, is just tune out all the nonsense and call people out on their shit, because there's just no time for games, mind games, people trying to control you, trying to fuck with you. It's too much. And people try to do this. This is the most despicable, disgusting thing. People who do not have your best intentions at heart, people who genuinely are annoyed with you, angry with you, they don't like you. And you can read that in their energy, in their tone. It's very obvious. But they come at you with this way of thinking like they've got your best interest at heart. They're like, "Oh, but this is for you. I'm trying to educate you. I'm trying to teach you how to behave." And they're not really doing that. They need to tell themselves that that's what they're doing, because the alternative would be accepting that they're just bullying you. But they don't want to see it that way. So they frame it in a way that makes themselves feel like the hero, which is even more it's like, you know, rubbing salt in the wound. Like, not only are they bullying you, but they're trying to gaslight you into thinking that you deserve it, which is very fitting to this title. What do you deserve? I know I don't deserve that. No one deserves to be talked to that way. So I don't put up with it. I just call them out on the reality of the situation. That person was trying to make it personal and tell me what to do with my channel, and trying to make it seem like it wasn't just about the fact that they believe Timothy Heller. So I just cut all the bullshit out and said, let's just focus on what this is actually about. You believe Timothy, and you don't like that I disagree. So let's not pretend otherwise. And they didn't like that I called them out on it. So there goes another one. I'm kind of relieved. I'm blocking so many accounts today. You know, I was a little bit afraid that Dave would, or, you know, whatever his real name is, I was a little bit afraid that he would, not, that he'd be afraid to expose all of his accounts to me, but honestly, it works either way. Like, on one hand, he doesn't expose the accounts to me, and I don't have to hear from him anymore, or he does expose the accounts, and I block each one as they show up. So, either way, I'm telling this guy to fuck off in every language I know. So, yeah, you know, I think he can still watch my videos if I block him, and unfortunately, I think he can still sabotage with the dislikes, but I don't care. I mean, you know, a couple dislikes from the same person with multiple accounts. I tried reporting his accounts too, you know, for harassment, but unfortunately, I don't think YouTube gives a shit, so it is what it is. I am not going to pretend that having 12 dislikes from one angry subscriber is going to be the deciding factor in whether or not I am successful as a YouTuber. That's really ridiculous. If I were successful as I want to be, and I think I'm capable of being if I keep trying, um, this guy, it couldn't even make himself known to me. You know, he would just be a crazy, delusional, obsessive person. So he wouldn't even bother interacting with me. And I think the only reason he does is he likes small channels. He likes to have a really personal relationship with you. And this is what he does to people. Small YouTube channels like myself, who make live streams, usually just casual live streams, they're often younger. And, you know, it feels very, like, intimate in kind of a creepy way. And he'll leave comments and they'll acknowledge, like, from these different accounts, there's like Trent Briggs, Dave London, The Real Cynthia, you know, all these people, and he'll watch these, like, you know, these YouTubers, and they'll be talking about Dave and Trent and all these fake names that they don't know are fake, and they'll be interacting with them in the comments, and it's like one of the only people commenting. Very, very, very creepy. And he'll say creepy stuff like do a sleep live stream and, you know, crazy shit like that. So, you know, one time he told me that some YouTuber was watching my video, and this was before I knew how nuts he was. He goes, this guy, and he said the name, is watching your video, and I was like, oh, cool, some big channel watched my video. That's amazing. And I go over to his channel, and I was like, well, it's not that big, but it's big enough. So here's the thing. This is a very regular occurrence for Dave, or whatever his real name is. Dave London was the account that he used for me the most, but what he does is he goes around to all of his YouTubers that he watches and tells them about each other randomly. Just will randomly comment names and just tell people about everybody. It's how I met my friend Aaron. I don't talk to him too much anymore, but you know, I had him on a couple live streams. We did a reaction to a new Sia song. So if you go look on my live streams on this channel, there's something with Aaron that I did about Sia. So I met him through Dave, because Dave commented on his channel and told him about me, and then he commented on my channel and told me about him. This is what Dave does. He just does this. And it took me a while to realize the pattern, to be like, oh, this is his thing. For a while, I guess it didn't fully sink in how creepy he was. I always knew he was weird. I always was like, what? But it never occurred to me just how demented he was until he tried to talk to me in private and was trying to catfish me, sending me fake pictures, and just, you know, very, very disturbing. So I didn't like that. There goes another account. And just for the record, if you're still here and you can still hear me, that is not how you promote other channels. And it's not helpful. It's just creepy. You need to get a life. You need to get hobbies. You have nothing to gain from watching me, because all you're going to get is all your accounts blocked, and then you won't be able to comment anymore. And if you keep making new accounts, they're just going to keep disappearing. Every comment you leave, I'm going to know it's you. Like, it's pretty obvious that it's you. So I will block you. And, you know, just please, fuck off. Like, I genuinely mean it. If I had you in front of me right now, I would punch you so hard in the face your teeth would fall out. And your nose would probably fall off. The amount of rage that I have toward you is, I can't even put it into words. I hate you so much. But whatever. I'm blocking you. Out of sight, out of mind. How much more really is there to say? What do you deserve? What does Dave think he deserves? Dave probably thinks that he deserves whatever he seems to be getting. But what he actually deserves is mental health treatment. He probably needs to take a bath. He probably just sits in his bed all day doing literally nothing and just lies to people and says creepy, weird shit. You hate yourself. That's the real issue. Do I sound like I hate myself? It's you that I hate. Like, I don't know how to be any clearer. Because you don't understand the word no. I have said leave me alone and fuck off in probably every language known to man, and you still, here you are. You know, I don't know how to spell it out any clearer for you. Fuck off. No one likes you. The only people who like you don't even know who you are. They don't know that you're lying about your name, about, you know, your age, about your location, for all I know. I really just, I want to see you taken into custody and put in a straitjacket. I want to see your internet taken away from you. They need to give you one of those Bark phones that Aaron has. Like, you should not have access to the internet. You are genuinely unstable and unhinged. And you're not promoting channels, you delusional psychopath. Oh my god, it's Daniel. Yeah, I'm yelling at my stalker. Yeah. I got scared when I saw your comment, because every comment that I've gotten thus far has been from my stalker, and I have been, each time he leaves a comment, it's from a different account, and I just keep blocking them. So, because I've had it up to here with him. So, yeah, Daniel is a friend of mine, just for anybody who knows. Isn't it kind of funny when people say people's names and you don't explain who it is? Like, I had a coworker who, that literally the day after I met her, would just start saying shit about people. She'd be like, and Lester did this to me. And I'm like, who is Lester? Who are you? Like, I barely know you. And you're just saying this guy's name like I'm going to know who you're talking about. And her daughter came into the store once, and she goes, is Karen there? And I said, Karen R or Karen H? Because, sorry, I just had to quickly jump on that in case the comment got removed. So, yeah, it is some intense effort on their part. It's insane. It's more than obsessive. It's a little bit terrifying. But I dared this motherfucker to try to find out where I live and show up at my house. He's not going to live to see the next day if he does. But honestly, it would almost be more satisfying to, like, knock him out, you know, knock him unconscious, and then call the police, and then just watch his face as he's taken into the car and, like, finally held accountable. I don't even want to kill him. I just want to see him in cuffs. Like, but yeah, he's too much of a chicken shit to even leave his bed. I guarantee you, this guy has no life outside of wherever he lives and whatever he does in his house. The one thing he told me that might be true is that his parents bought him a condo and he doesn't have to work. I could buy that. Would explain why he's so fucking insane. Lester is trouble, lol. It's the name. Seals their fate for weirdness. Yeah, like, it just, yeah, with her name was Karen. I had two Karens at where I worked. Both of them were managers. Um, and this lady comes in and says, "Is Karen here?" And I said, "Karen R or Karen H?" And she said, "Karen H." And I'm like, "Okay, let me go get her." And she's in the office. So I say, "Karen, someone wants to see you." And she looks so confused. She goes, "Me?" So then she comes out of the office and she goes, "Oh, that's my daughter." And I was like, "Well, she didn't tell me she was your daughter. I didn't know who she was. Why are you saying it like it was obvious? You didn't show me a picture of her. I didn't know, like, I didn't know her name. She didn't announce her name. She literally just came into the store, asked for you, and, holy shit, dude, how many accounts do you have?" I thought I already put a dent in them before I even went live tonight, but my God, at least I know I'm putting a bigger dent. I'm gonna have to go back and count how many I banned in this one live stream, because Jesus Christ, that's insane. Isn't there like a limit on how many? I guess not. But every time you make a new account, you have to like make a new email and stuff. I mean, he's got to have like 50. It's oh my God, it's insane. Like, what in the world kind of a hobby is this? What does he get out of it? Well, I guess if you look for the commonalities between the people he watches, they're all, like, I think it's sexual, you know? He's telling them to do sleep streams. He likes to watch them sleep. There was one guy who was making videos of him stepping on bugs with his bare feet, and I'm convinced that that was a sexual thing for Dave. Like, there's creepy shit. He's told me to do sleep streams. He's tried to pretend that he was my boyfriend and say creepy shit like that. Very, very creepy. And he even told me in private that one of the YouTubers he watches sent him nude in private. So I thankfully never did anything like that with him, but he tried to do it to me. And I said, "I think you're a catfish. So prove to me that you're a real person. Video call me." And he wouldn't do it. I was like, okay. That's all I need to know. So yeah, he's very, very creepy. And he's definitely getting some kind of gratification from watching these people. But what's weird is how, like, he seems to think that he's helping them by, like, telling them about each other. It really doesn't help. You've just created a weird community and a parasocial relationship. And that's why I don't think he watches big YouTubers. He only watches the ones that he can, imagine himself actually getting close to and talking to. It is all Dave. Like, it's a fact. It's not what I think, it's just the reality. Next time, it's only polite to identify yourself as Spawn when asking for them. Who wants to watch someone sleep? Like, just look at the picture of them. Moves about the same amount. I know, seriously. When he told me to do a sleep stream, I was like, what is that? It's a thing. People do it. My friend Aaron that I mentioned, that I met through Dave, he does sleep streams, or at least he did sleep streams, sometimes. And that's probably why Dave watched him, and how Dave found him. So yeah, very, 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 very weird mentally ill person, and I don't know how he found me, or why he watches my shit, but I feel like I stepped in gum. I just cannot get him off. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick gave him a giant, dirty, gross gumball as a present, and SpongeBob didn't know what to do with it, and it all just blew up and covered his whole house, and he was stuck, That's Dave to me. The gum blowing up is like Dave having multiple accounts, and just like, I feel like it's a virus I can't get rid of. But yeah, and it's funny too, because I had complained to Dave in a live stream before about catfishes and crazy people online, and I was like, whoa, you take the cake. You are crazier than all of these people, and you had the audacity to listen to me talk about them as if they aren't exactly like you, if anything less crazy than you. Like, holy jumping fucking Jesus. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that kind of mentality, but what I was talking about today is what do you deserve, and I had a couple different things. There's people who think they don't deserve anything good, and people who have no accountability or self-awareness, and they don't ever question what they deserve or don't deserve. They just feel entitled to everything that they want. and they just kind of stroll throughout the day. That's a Dave type person, someone who really doesn't ever reflect or take any accountability. Now I know that he has some serious mental illness, but I also know that there's an element of decision involved in this because no one is born that insane. Like, people are born with mental conditions, people are born with physical conditions, but none of them prevent you from being a good person or prevent you from being at least as healthy as you can be. So there's no excuse. At some point, Dave just made bad choices and then spiraled into wherever he is now, and he's too far down the rabbit hole to pull out. There's no saving him. He's just nuts. Unfortunately, he's also told me that he's going to vote for Trump, and I believe him because, honestly, I feel like this is pretty accurate representation of the types of people who support Trump. But I'm not going to bother diving too much into that right now. But I did it already on my last live stream on Friday called Will Kamala Harris Win? And I tried to... Yep, there goes another one. A lot of these I had not seen before. Thank you, Dave, for introducing me to all your new accounts so I can block every single one of them. But like I said, it's a win-win because if you don't leave creepy comments, then no one to block. So it's all good either way. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's like completely batshit crazy. I don't know how to explain the kind of thinking it takes to behave that way. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't know how much more I really have to say. Is Daniel still here? Say something before I end the live stream because I don't know. I could continue if you want me to, I don't know, elaborate on anything. I'm glad to know it's working because when I started the live stream I wasn't sure if it would work. Waves. All right. What is that picture? I can't, your profile picture is too small. I can't even see it. Excuse me. Daniel is one of my newer in-person friends. He lives like 10 minutes away. So that's awesome because I love meeting people that are closer by. It's me and my doggo companion. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I'm blanking on your dog's name. I'm sorry. But, yeah, so I gotta decide what I want to do with these channels because I think Great Dave finds you and now he knows I'm in a consent. Okay. Well, I think, like I said, I even knew the general neighborhood you lived in and I still wouldn't have been able to find your house. So I don't think there's a risk of that. But, like I said, if Dave did try to find me, I could get police involved very easily. Because I am not afraid to be violent with this motherfucker. I have a lot of pent-up rage. You know? I would just whack him in the face so hard. I would very quickly knock him unconscious. Okay. Now they're talking about Zach. Amazing Cars 12. Yeah, I knew that one was Dave. I'd fight Dave with you. That would be hilarious. Yeah, it's just one person, one weird stalker. Just like so insane that I even have to like I cannot believe how many accounts this guy has. I almost want to stay live just to keep blocking more of them. And I'm sure he's put a dislike on my video with each one of them, because he loves to do that. Down with the Dave. And God, I wish I knew his real name. Because I know it feels so weird calling him Dave, even though that was the name that I knew him by for like a year. It feels so weird calling him Dave now that I know that's not his real name, and it's just one of many fake names that he has. Like, what makes the name Dave more significant than Trent Briggs or, one of the other fake names that he has? So, it's, I guess just because that's what I knew him by for a year. That was the account he commented on my stuff with the most. Down with the Dave does kind of sound like a band name. His name is Dave, you fool. Okay, there goes another Amazing Cars. Amazing Cars 141. Where do you get these names from? Is Amazing Cars the name of a YouTuber you follow? Oh, man. There was another YouTuber you introduced me to. I haven't talked to him since I found out how crazy you are. I gotta DM him and let him know you're nuts, and that he should be blocking all of your accounts too. Dave, you fool. Such an unfortunate name. Yeah, that is unfortunate too. Yeah, I felt like when I titled the video, Mr. You Fool, I felt like when I titled the video, What Do You Deserve, there was so much to unpack. And I've gotten a little bit distracted with the Dave drama, which hopefully this will be the last time, because I've blocked so many of his accounts. He can't have that many more, right? Like, and it's a permanent thing. It's hide user from channel. It makes it so that they can't comment, and it removes all their previous comments. So, if he keeps commenting, it's going to have to be from new accounts. Eventually, he's going to get tired of making them, isn't he? I hope. Just got an army of Daves attacking me. But the weirdest thing is, he won't admit that he's Dave. Like, it's obvious as hell that he is. Like, there's a 0% chance that it's not, but he still won't actually admit it. No one deserves Dave. Nobody does. Daniel, have you seen the TV show Baby Reindeer? That's pretty short, honestly. So if you haven't, I wouldn't mind watching it with you. But it's literally Dave. It's about a stalker. You have not? Okay. So, yeah. It's about this crazy stalker. And it's like 7 episodes. And it's a limited series, meaning there's only ever going to be one season. So, yeah. And it's based on a true story. The person, it's a fake name, but the guy who it actually happened to is the main, he plays himself, basically, but gives everybody different names. But it's basically his story. It's basically what actually happened to him. And the real lady, I've seen her in an interview protesting that it's her. She is completely insane and very much just like a Dave London type person. Someone who's like, it's not me, but then it clearly is. And it's not crazy to send 1,000 emails to someone and, like, oh my God. But the show is really well written and well acted and very, very captivating and engaging. And, by the end of it, it's kind of a perfect wrap up. Does it have anything to do with actual baby reindeer? Because that sounds cute, but this description does not sound cute. Baby reindeer is what she calls him. So it's the stalker's nickname for the main character, and she doesn't explain what it means until the last episode at the very end. So, it's very interesting. Yeah, she's got a bunch of weird nicknames. It's not just that. But it reminds me so much of my situation. It's like that level of, whoa, what is wrong with you? Um, but yeah. It's, when I found it, I was like, I can't stop watching. I was hooked immediately. Um, so I've had some crazy ass people. I had Craig the Christian Spanker on Facebook. Um, and that is literally what it sounds like. This guy messaged me out of nowhere, complete stranger, and he's like, "Do you like to be spanked?" I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Craig and a spanker." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he kept trying to talk to me, and it was like a whole day of just, me casually, not like, I'm sitting there all day talking to him, but just, every now and then I'd check my phone and check a new message and I'd see him and, just talking to him for like a day or two. And eventually I said, "Do you have a personality outside of spanking?" And he goes, "Yes, of course I do." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And he goes, "I love Jesus." And I'm like, "I'm sorry?" And he's like, "I'm a Christian. I'm a big believer of Jesus." And I was like, "Okay." So I tried to have a conversation with him, and this guy was just like talking to a brick wall, as about as dense as you can get. Clearly, mental health issues for sure. Um, and eventually, I got so angry, I said, "I hate you." And he goes, "But I care about you." And I'm like, "Who are you? Why do you care about? You don't know me. Like, what the fuck?" It was so weird. Um, the weirdest one, easily, and I don't know if I can even start talking about this one because it's going to take up too much time, is Hunter. Oh my God. This guy messaged me saying the most random weird shit. He would just randomly. Okay, so let me give you context. I'll try to my best to speed through this story. He was added to a Facebook group that I was in, a group chat, and he just randomly sends pictures of himself in the hospital. And everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "That's from 2018 when I had my open heart surgery." And everyone was like, "Well, are you okay now?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm fine now." And then everybody just kind of moved on. But then he added me on Snapchat, and we were talking on Snapchat, and he started saying weird random shit, and then would be like, "Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a boyfriend." And I'm like, "No, it's fine, I'll still talk to you." And then he just kept saying weird shit, and eventually, he kept trying to FaceTime me, and I was like, "I don't want to. I don't like FaceTiming people." It's, especially when it seems like they're just doing it because they're bored, because then I'm just going to have to entertain them the whole time. I only want to talk to people when I want to talk to them, when it's mutual and we both want to talk to each other and we have something to talk about. None of this "I'm bored, FaceTime me" bullshit. Like, I'm never bored just sitting around waiting for someone to entertain me. That's like, I always have something to do. So, yeah. And I'm certainly not going to be entertained by someone who's looking to be entertained, because clearly, then what? You're just going to sit there and stare at each other, like, or I'm going to be doing all the work. But yeah, no. So I said maybe FaceTime the group. So we did it over there, and unfortunately, nobody else joined. It was just the two of us. There were a couple moments where somebody else joined briefly, but for the most part, it was just me and him, and and my boyfriend was in the background, and he really didn't get to know us that well. This is what makes it so weird. He didn't get to know us that well. We barely talked. He did some talking, I did some talking. I mostly just made weird faces the whole time because I didn't know what else to do. So then we get off the face or the group chat call. We move back over to Snapchat. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we move back over to Snapchat, and then he started saying even weirder shit. And he's like, "I want to be in a throuple with you and Zach." And I was like, "What?" And then he's like, "Sorry, I'm so sorry. That was too weird." And I'm like, Okay, no, you're fine. Just like, literally just met you and don't know you that well, and you saying weird random shit." He also sent me the open heart surgery pictures, by the way, like privately on Snapchat. And I was like, "Yep, I saw them earlier today when you sent them in the Facebook group." So just like weird random shit like that. So he kept saying that about me, and it was weird as he kept apologizing afterwards. And I'm like, "What is happening?" So I DM'd the person who added him to that group, and I was like, "How well do you know him?" He's like, "I don't know, we've been friends for like 2 years." I'm like, "Does this kind of behavior seem out of character?" And I briefed him on what was happening, and he's like, "What?" But then he went over and messaged him and told him that he was weirding me out. And then he messages me and he goes, "Did you tell my friend Jake that I was weirding you out?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, what have I done?" So then I was like, I don't know, I'm sorry. So then he just moved on, and I was like, I don't know, you're saying weird shit. So then he was like, I'm sorry, I'll stop talking to you. So then he randomly messages me and goes, "Just so you know, if I text you that I had a nightmare, it's because my dad has a back surgery coming up in a few months." And I was like, "Huh? Come again?" Um, okay, there goes another one. Another Dave. So, yeah, anyway, yeah, so he's messaging me. I know. So he's like, my dad's back surgery is coming up, and I've been having nightmares about it. And I'm like, and why do I need to know this? Are you telling me that you're gonna message me in the middle of the night because you had a nightmare about your dad's back surgery? What? And then he sends me a voice memo basically saying the same thing. It didn't make it less weird. And I'm just thinking, okay, this is really nuts. So then the next day comes and goes, and he's like, in the afternoon, he's like, "Hey, I had a dream that I was with you and Zach, and we were all in bed having sex." And I was like, "Okay, help me, God. What am I supposed to say to this person? What the fuck?" And then he immediately goes, "I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Stop saying weird shit," and then immediately apologizing for it. It makes it even weirder. Like, just what the hell? What vibe have you gotten from me that says I want to hear that? Like, I you we barely know each other, and the only things I know about you are really fucking weird. And then I asked him, I was like, Help me get to know you better." And he starts telling me, this was the night before, this wasn't, that day. So he's like, "Oh, my favorite color is purple and blue or something." He names two different colors, whatever it was. And I'm like, "Okay, those are two colors." And he goes, "My favorite animal is a dragon." And I'm like, what the hell? But basically, I eventually just said, I can't take it anymore. So I told this guy, you've weirded me out too much. I can't handle it. I'm sorry." And he goes, "Oh no, I'm sorry. But can we still talk and be friends?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry. It's just too much. I can't handle it." So he goes, "Oh, okay, bye." And I said, "Bye." And I shit you not, the next day at 5 in the morning, he texts me, "Hey, bestie." Hey, bestie? I left him on open. And then he sent me, "Good afternoon, bestie," over on Facebook. Left him on open. Back again on Snapchat, another "Hey, bestie" in the afternoon. And another "Hey, bestie" on Facebook. 4 in one day, none of which I responded to. And then he kept doing it for a couple days. Just a "Hey, bestie" every now and then. And every time I was like, what the living fuck? What is happening? And I still don't know. It lasted for a couple weeks. I think the last thing he said to me is, "Hey, bestie, I'm sick." And I was like, "Yeah, clearly." But I never responded to him. The last thing I said to him was, "I don't think we can be friends anymore." And I think that's pretty clear. I spelled it out for him. I didn't make it ambiguous in any way. He even copied, like he understood what I said. And then just completely forgot the next day? I mean, what about being left unopened tells you that I want to talk to you? Screws loose. Something's wrong there. Yikes! I'm gonna call a red flag on all of that so fast. Major attention-seeking crisis, narcissistic approaches there. Math is fundamental, kids. Knowing the differences between 1 and 2 does come up in life. Yeah, that was wild. That was in, like, I want to say April? I don't even remember. It's so hard for someone to lose their bestie. Yeah, I knew him for like 2 days. Barely. Like a day and a half, maybe. He was saying he wanted to be in a throuple with me after an hour of knowing me and barely talking to me during that time. So yeah, and he also told me he was single, and then when we were on the video call, mentioned like a boyfriend in Canada or something, which just like, what in the hell? My favorite color is giraffe. Yeah. Oh man. I've never had anyone tell me their favorite animal is a mythical creature. Like, that was weird. And those are the things he chooses to tell me about himself. I'm like, I don't know you that well. And he's like, well, my favorite color is blue and green, and my favorite animal is a dragon. And I'm like, I didn't ask. Those are not, that's not how you let someone get to know you. Like, you know, I didn't even know Zach's favorite color until recently. It just came up on a phone call. I'm pretty sure it was blue, which is the same as mine. But, like, I didn't even know that. It's not that important to know that about someone. I know, but still, it's just weird. Like, everything about it is weird. You either have a boyfriend or you don't. Like, I don't know. It's just... And you know, this guy didn't even live near me. I don't remember where he lived, but he wasn't local. So how was he planning on dating me and Zach anyway? It's absolutely insane. Like, there was no foundation for any of these claims. He just sort of said it out of nowhere. And I just had to be like, what? I was trying so hard not to be rude or mean, but eventually I just said, I have to cut this person off. And I'm not mad that I didn't block him, because then I wouldn't have known how many times he was going to message me, hey, bestie. And for curiosity's sake, I'm glad I know. It's been a few months since he's tried. Are they at least Canadian? You know, funny story. One time I was on Omegle, where I used to meet a lot of my friends, and I met this guy who was, I think, in Canada, and I liked him, but, you know, I realized he was kind of boring, which happens to me a lot, where I talk to someone and they seem to agree with me on the things that I say. And then I realize when it's their turn to talk, they don't have as much to say. It's just that they didn't disagree with me. So it's not that they were perfect, it's just that they weren't aggressively against me. And if anything, it was almost annoying how neutral he was. Because once I talked to this guy again, I was like, oh, he has like no personality. I couldn't, you know. But then he suggested that I go on Tinder, and I was always against dating apps, but I was like, fuck it. And that's eventually what led to me meeting my current boyfriend. So, honestly, I don't think there's anything nutty about you that makes this true, but it does feel true that you somehow get nut bags to attach to you. Yes, I attract the weirdos and the lunatics. You know, and sometimes in succession. Like, you know, there was a period where it was like all of these people coming at me at the same time. I had Craig the Christian Spanker, Hunter, this guy that tried to hook up with me and then tried to cancel and did all sorts of weird shit. Like, you know, just like, it told me to block him. Like, it was very unclear what he wanted. He's like, I want to hook up with you, but also I want to block you, and you should block me because I don't trust myself to not try to message you or something. And I'm like, hold on. Like, block me, man. What do you mean telling me to block you? Why should I block you? And he's like, because I don't want to have the ability to message you. So we got into a whole fight over that, because I don't block people. And honestly, me blocking Dave on YouTube is really saying something, because I genuinely don't block people. But with Dave, I was pushed past my limit. And I almost was pushed past my limit with this guy. I had to even block him temporarily and then unblock him. But he tried messaging me that day, too, after a few months. So apparently he really couldn't control himself, and he needed to message me again. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. So I had all of these people messaging me on the same day. It was like 3 or 4. I even had somebody trying to scam me and get me to, you know, buy into some, like, you know, do you have Cash App, and, you know, I don't know, weird shit like that. So I had a bunch of lunatics messaging me at the same time in one day, and I was like, what the hell is going on with the moon today? Like, what is happening? It was very, very weird. I don't know where these people come from. I'm convinced there's a machine that produces them, and some of them are just assigned to me. I don't know why, but it seems to be the case. So, It says I have 2 likes on this video. I appreciate that. I'm sure Dave left about 20 dislikes, given how many accounts I just had to ban from this channel. But yeah, so I meet a lot of crazy people. Like Moths to the Flame, they love me. I don't know why. But, you know, you gotta sift through the duds, and that's how you find good people. If I just tuned everybody out, I wouldn't have all the friends that I have that I love. So, you know, I am pretty good at finding people. And, you know, dealing with crazy people, you learn better boundaries, and you also learn what to look for. You learn what you don't want. You learn what you deserve, back to the title of the video. You learn how to make sure that you are getting what you deserve, and not getting what you don't deserve. So, yeah, I think I'm going to try to be a little more strict with the topics I cover. On my other channel, I want to strictly cover topics like this, where I'm just giving you information about something. And on this channel, I want to be a little more open-ended. And I think that kind of fits the names. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in. And for those of you who watched the replay, thank you for watching to the end. Daniel, if you're still here, thank you for watching live. Oh, good. Yay, deserve good things, not like your water bottle's name backwards. Yes. Naive. I love Evian. Really, like, my favorite kind of water. And genuinely tastes different from other water. It isn't just in my head. I was even having a conversation with someone about that the other day. Like, there's science behind it. It's actually, it's actually different from other brands. And that's just my preference. I like Evian. So, yeah. Can I ever unsee naive now every time you look at it? Were you trying to spell you and that was a typo? I mean, to be honest, I don't really look at it that much. I usually don't read the bottle. I just kind of drink from it. Because they're all the same. So, you know, there's that. I'm gonna have to take a thumbnail because I had an issue trying to take a thumbnail before I went live, so I'm gonna have to, I don't know, do one of these afterwards. So I'm gonna go, but you can text me. Just heard my grandma's phone make a noise. Yeah, if you're still around, you can text me when I end. Auto Cucumber always out to get me. I hope that was on purpose, 'cause that's honestly really funny. Auto Cucumber. All right, I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. It was on purpose. It's my dumb joke that makes me laugh. Okay. Auto erect. This was fun. Bye. Bye.